Okay, let's do, we're up to Siman Lamed Beis, Halacha Mem Dalet. So, now says the Mechaber, Torah Tefillin Halacha Moshe Sinai. Let's just get the names clear. This is the bias. This is the Shalrosh. This is the Torah, right? That's the square part. This is the Ma'abarto. The Ma'abarto is like a bridge, and the Ritzuas go through here. So says the Mechaber, Titayra Tefillin, the base, this Titayra, is a Halacha Moshe Sinai. V'hainu sheyosim lemata lechasas by piabatim, that you put the to underneath and it covers the batim. V'nira ke'ein daf shel gesha nikra Titayra. It's like a platform to rest the bias on top of it. Ma'abarto the Tefillin, which as I said is this part where the Ritzuas go through. Halacha Moshe Sinai. V'hainu she'er hatitayra yehi orach mitzad echod. The of the Titayra, i.e., this side should be longer than this side because it's going to become the Ma'abarta. So the length of this side is going to be longer. Yehi orach mitzad echod. V'hainu she'er hatitayra yehi orach mitzad echod v'yaseh bo ha'Ma'abarta. Keitzad yichatchenu b'shnei tzodim. You cut out this little bit over here. Can you see this little bit over there? You cut out, and then this becomes the Ma'abarta. So yichatchenu b'shnei tzodim shelo tei rechava k'may rechav ha'titayra. That it's kadei she'nika ribu ha'titayra, because you want to emphasize the squareness of the titayra, and therefore by cutting out this bit over here, you've got a titayra which is square, and then you've that bit which is the Ma'abarta. V'al kadei she'nika ribu ha'titayra, or ba'is Ma'abarta iveres haritzua v'al shem kach nikris Ma'abarta. And gam b'tefillin shel yad yaseh Titayra Ma'abarta, and so too in the tefillin shel yad you've got exactly the same. You've got the Titayra and the Ma'abarta. Let's just do the Mishnah Berurah till there. Says the Mishnah Berurah in Reish Aleph, sheyosim va'afilu l'das ha'soivim da'batim tzrichim lios kulam erechod mamish. Interestingly, even though we said that the bottom has got to be made out of one piece of leather, mikol mokum lo bo'inin she'at Titayra va'Ma'abarta ma'abatim erechod. The bottom bit, the Titayra, this part, and the Ma'abarta does not have to be me'er echod. Even if it's a separate piece of leather, then that's sufficient. That you place it, i.e. you make the bias and then you can put it on top of the Ma'abarta. If it's possible, that the whole thing should be made out of one piece of leather. Lot says that the length of this bit should be a bit longer. And if it breaks, you can stitch it. Shehi nikar, that it's nikar that the Titayra should be square, and you can tell that the Ma'abarta is a separate section. Says the Mishnah Berurah in Reish Gimel, ki gam ha-Titayra tzrichem medin yes meruba, because really the Titayra needs to be square. Good. Okay, let's just finish off the Mechaber. Yegalgel kol ha-parsha. So now we're good to go. You've got 4 compartments, and now you've written the klaf. We've described how you write them. You're going to roll the klaf and put them inside the bias of the tefillin. Now, when you roll them, how do you do that? I don't know if you've ever seen a sofer do it. You have. You've seen the sofer takes it, and you roll the klaf. Now, which way do you roll it? So says the Mechaber, Yegalgal kol parsha misoifa letchiloso. I.e., imagine you've got the pasuk Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. You go to the Echad, the end of the parsha, and you roll towards the Shema. That's what it means. Misoifa letchiloso v'karchem beklaf cotton, and you sort of wrap them into a little klaf. V'yesh makbidin milakarchon ela beklaf kosher. In other words, if you look here, Eli, if you look at page 212, so this is what you do. You take, there's the parsha, so you roll it like that, if you can see, and you roll it until you get a little ball like that. And then you take another piece of parchment, and you wrap it round. Can you see that? So you've got like a little box shape, and you put the round ball, the round sort of cylinder into this box, and then what you're going to do is take a hair and you make a little bow. So you've got that little bundle, and that's what you put inside. So says the Mechaber, Yegalga kol ha-parsha misoifa letchila, so you roll it, v'karchon beklaf cotton, v'yesh makbidin milakarchon ela beklaf kosher. It's got to be you put a, like I said, that little box shape around the cylinder has got to be klaf kosher. Then you take the halacha Moshe Sinai, you take a little bit of hair and you wrap that around it, either from the behema or chayat tahirim. Says the Ramah, v'nagin likra chsea ala parsha. You take the some people have the minhag, you take a hair and you wrap it around the parsha before you put around the cylinder itself. And then, in other words, you roll and you make your parsha round, you then take a hair and you tie that around the parsha, and then you take another piece of cloth and you package it in that. Finishing off the machaba, the minhag is to make it out of egel, of the hair from a calf. You can take it of a para or shar. You make sure the seir is properly clean. And a little bit of the hair has got to come out. Can you see, like over here, this is this bit. Can you see that hair over here? That little bit of hair over here emerges from the bias. That is the hair that wraps around one of the parshas, and it comes out through one of the holes. It says the bottom. Okay, good. Let's just finish off the Mishnah Berurah. Reish Dalet. Okay, Misofer Tchilasa. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Be'eshen Noisn Lebeisa, when you put it in the house, K'may Mezuzah Shenigleles Me'echod Klape Shema. You roll it from Echod to the Shema, V'lo Lehepech, not the other way around. Mitam Shenitzba B'Yeredea, like it says in Yeredea Reish Peches. Interestingly, the footnote says the Mechaber doesn't say anything in Reish Peches, but rather the Rambam, he says that the reason is that when you open it up, then you can read it straight away. The Korcham Rotzeloimar Lechatchila. Avalim lo karchum kosher b'diavad. If you didn't wrap it, then b'diavad is kosher. Imenu acherim if you have no other tefillin. V'ayim machas hasheka b'be'er halacha. B'klaf cotton, you take the cylinder of the klaf and you put it into another klaf. V'huadin b'chatichas beged, and if you can't find the klaf, you can put it into a piece of material in emlo klaf. V'ayim b'be'er hagra. B'klaf kosher, but it has to be the klaf of a kosher animal. Rotzolema. Aval lo b'mehema chay v'tmeya. Not from a behema or chay, which is tmeya, non-kosher animal. Aval b'matlis gas, but like a thick piece of cloth. That is actually okay. If you're using klaf, it's got to be kosher from a kosher animal. If you didn't tie the piece of hair around it, it's possible. Even though you wrap it in a piece of klaf, but if you didn't do it in the seir, then it's possible. It's no good. Because some say that you should take the hair and wrap it around the actual parsha and not the klaf which surrounds the parsha. And then on top of that, you wrap it into another piece of parchment. And some say no, it should be the other way around. And therefore we do both. A double wrap. And there's no hakbota which one is first. Shall egel. Why shall egel? Says the Mishnah Berurah, interesting. That you should remember the maisa of the egel, that you shouldn't we shouldn't come to sin. To be mechap on the chet of the egel. And therefore you make everything from the of the egel, all of the tefillin, to exclude those who make the retzuas from a different animal, from a tayish, from some sort of a ram or something like that. It should be less than the size of a bean, of a barley bean, very short, like in your one, just coming out a little bit. There are 4 compartments, as we've said. So some say it should come out of that section where it says Kaddish. V'yesh omrim etzel v'hoyim shemoya. V'tov sheyezim in Parshas v'hoyim shemoya. But tzad hapoine the Parshas Kaddish. It should come out of that section which is v'hoyim shemoya, facing the one which is Kaddish. Okay, Peseda, we'll leave it there.